All right, welcome back to Developing Hurricanes. The only if video listeners will watch my hair dry because it's 9:45 at night, and this is the only time that we were able to record since we haven't recorded in I think a month ish, probably a little bit
I say
less
probably
than.
Dev Camp was the last thing we really talked
So
about, so it's
about
probably
about a
two.
month. Oh wait, it was I thought that was last month. I thought it was July. Was
Yeah,
it
Dev Camp
June?
was like at the very beginning of July though, because free
Oh,
agency.
okay.
So yeah, it's been
Okay.
almost 2 months.
I got you. All right. Yeah, we were just kind of sitting, waiting for news to kind of come out, get everything kind of going, and we're getting dangerously close to real hockey. This will go up Sunday, so the day after, Monday, we have the first regular season prospect game being played. And it's two teams that actually have prospects on both sides. And we'll kind of touch on those guys later because we have a specific point to talk about with them, but it's a VHL game. So we'll get to that in a minute, and that's another thing that I just remembered that I will write down to talk about because I forgot about that contract extension. First up, speaking of contracts, well, actually, Matt, are you okay in life?
Yeah, I'm great. I love the way that you framed that question. Like, are you okay in life?
That's been my big thing on in the radio station that I work at. They're kind of shocked by how I talk and act is because I'm very when I'm there I'm very monotone and I'm very like direct and blunt to the point whenever they ask me a question. So they're like, oh, it's just kind of funny. So I,
Yes, I'm doing okay in life. I'm ready for hockey. I think at this point it's we're like, as of recording this, actually 2 weeks away from the prospect showcase.
that
So
is true, and we'll talk about that in a minute because we got to go over.
I
I
know,
guess
but I'm just saying, like,
we
that's
can do both.
exciting. Like, we can,
I
the
guess we
light
can just
at the end of the tunnel is there.
well, my light at the end of the tunnel is Monday because Monday I have VHL hockey, VHL regular season hockey to get excited about, and it's actually a game I'm actually really excited about because it's the champions of the VHL and the a team that has some interesting Canes prospects because they've had at least one of them has had a career resurgence, and the other one I'm interested to see if he follows the same path. But first, let's talk about everybody's most interesting prospect and the most interesting prospect of the 2025 NHL draft, who is the first Hurricane in this draft class to ink his entry level contract in Ivan Ryabkin. There's a lot of questions going into the at least the past couple of weeks of like, is he going to go back to the USHL? He got drafted by Charlottetown in the Q. Is he going to go to the QMJHL? Which, I didn't put a lot of stock into because after reading the the article by the Drakkar GM where he went to the media and said some things, I went, all right, hands up. I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
where he basically like accused the
He
Hurricanes of hating the QMJHL.
yeah, the exact thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
remember because basically, I mean, they probably worked with Poirier and his agent to get him to play NCAA hockey, and I'm sure Drakkar was not thrilled about that.
I wouldn't be thrilled about it. No, I mean, well, that depends. There's a couple prospects in the CH. Actually, it's one prospect in the CHL. I keep saying that, but it's one guy in the CHL, but he's probably meant for the CHL. Ryabkin was never a guy, and Poirier to me now doesn't seem like a guy that should be in the queue. He has nothing there to prove, and
Correct.
Ryabkin definitely has nothing there to prove. And with him signing his entry level contract, Cam Robinson alluded to it. I also alluded to it. He's probably going to go to the AHL and see if he can stick. And I think we've talked about it a good amount, but just like offline with each other that, this is probably something that could work. The Wolves center depth is always something that they want to look at. Ryan Suzuki and Skylar Brindamore are good AHL guys. Suzuki, I'm still believing he's an NHL center, even though Matt is currently changing colors. Um,
Oh
you
yeah,
are
I'm
changing colors.
using. Hold on, I've got like the party mode on.
I was gonna say, brother.
This webcam sucks. Hold on.
Audio listeners, Matt is currently at a rave, and
It's
his
so
his
true.
he's currently going through Roy G. Biv on his face. But
Luigi Biv. Yeah, hold on.
so Ryabkin, at least physically, he's a little bit less than 6 feet, and he is a little bit over 200 pounds. And when you watch the way he plays, he is very physical. He will hunt for hits, which can sometimes lead to bad moments. But at that same point, he has level of physicality you want for the professional level. I'd say skill wise, he's probably pretty close to being good enough, as we have finally fixed. Matt has
Yeah.
fixed his issues, and
No, I still have plenty of issues, but I
skill
fixed the problem.
wise, he's up there in terms of the talent in the AHL level. It's kind of just a matter of skating and getting used to AHL and professional hockey, because going from the USHL to straight to the AHL is going to be a seismic jump.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it happen. It's pretty rare that players make that jump, but we've seen it happen typically with European players, just because either their grades don't match up or they weren't eligible for NCAA due to having played like 30 seconds of a pro game in their country. um, I think with Ryabkin, it's just like if you look at junior hockey as a whole, right? Look and compare the USHL to the QMJHL. They're pretty comparable leagues in terms of talent. So by going over to the QMJHL, it probably wouldn't have changed anything for Ryabkin. Like I don't think there would have been a sizable difference, and I don't think it would have helped him, honestly. You know, is it cool to score 50 goals and dominate, against teenagers? Sure. But
It's more impressive and better for him to go up against guys that he would play at the NHL, or guys that could play at the NHL level that have
yeah,
done professional hockey for longer. So I completely agree.
yeah, it makes no sense to send him to the same league. Like the only way I could have seen it is if they decided to keep him in Muskegon. But
Yeah, I mean,
with Ryabkin, the skating's pretty good. The physicality is where it needs to be to play
yeah,
in the pro hockey, and everything
small
else
beer
should come.
fridge.
Yeah, he's the next small beer fridge built like a large beer
Who was
fridge.
the first one?
Ponomarev.
Oh, I don't have the greatest memory. Okay, you got to realize that.
I just remember it because it was just so like I remember watching that pick happen and being like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Ponomarev. Well, we also had that same initial reaction to Ryabkin, so
Yeah, I've come around on him a lot.
I think we both have from that initial draft.
I
We
also
both kind of
think,
went.
and Nick, feel free to chime in on this a little bit because
That's what I've been doing.
we heard about like the attitude issues and all that
Hey man,
heading into the draft and like the work ethic, whatever. It wouldn't shock me if he's one of those guys that like maybe he just didn't want to show up all that much because he knew he was too good for the USHL. It's a weird attitude to have, but like, would it shock me if now that he gets to the pros and he actually shows out and has a good work ethic? No, I think that could very well happen.
his I remember reading a lot of stuff during his stint in Russia last year, that he was really bullish on playing at the KHL level.
Yeah,
That was his
and
big
he
thing.
wanted to. Like,
Yeah,
and I forget what team he was with, but they
Dynamo
wouldn't.
Moscow, buddy.
Yeah, Moscow wouldn't play him, so he um, told them to go kick rocks and sign in the USHL.
We got to get used to the Dynamo Moscow system, but
That's true, we do.
dude, there. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna double check myself,
I think
and
they've got
it's
three
gonna
of our
come.
guys, right?
I think they have four. If
Oh,
I
bounce off. He's the
So
one I
if
forgot.
I am not mistaken, I will go through and double check myself, but I believe I have to go through like all of their stupid rosters and stuff. Even though also on Balsov, I haven't seen him play at all in the preseason, or Limitov. Both I have not seen either of them play so far.
So they're
Dynamo St.
probably
Petersburg,
MHL bound
I
still.
would think so. Dynamo St. Petersburg is the VHL affiliate of Dynamo Moscow. They have Igor Velmakin, who we will talk about later, and Timur Cole, who got traded there in the off season. And then Dynamo Moscow, the MHL team, it says has Kurbin Limitov, and then Roman Balasov has magically disappeared. Am I thinking of a different team for Roman Balasov? Did I get punked and I'm thinking of a different? Is he on the actual Dynamo St. Petersburg and I've been punked, even though I saw him on? There's no way I'm this stupid, right?
No, he's on MHK Dynamo.
St. Petersburg. Wait, but I saw Cole and Balasov's name next to each other. Am I dumb?
I'm not answering that question.
That's really messed up, by the way. That's unbelievable.
Oh
It
man,
has Roman
that was
Balasov
funny.
there.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so Roman Balasov is there, but
Yes.
whatever. I'll have to find an ad. I think I have that. Whatever. I don't care enough. I do care enough, but I'm okay. Yeah. He just went through a whole lot. We were talking about Ryabkin and we somehow got sidetracked. But Dynamo Moscow, you'll have to know them. But we'll also talk about Dynamo Moscow later because we have news about that because something happened there. But Canes fans will get their first chance to see Ryabkin in action, in actual game action in a Hurricanes jersey at the Prospect Showcase, which does exist. I know people were concerned that it didn't exist. It does exist, I promise.
It does in fact exist. We got confirmation of that right after I published my projection
We
for the roster.
have dates, we have times, and we have a roster. And let me tell you, we looked at this roster and the first thing we said was, wow, this is an interesting roster. Let's start
That's more
with
or less what I said. Yeah.
let's Well, I can't say what you actually said because this is a somewhat PG podcast.
It's
Okay.
yeah. I can say part of what I said.
In any case, I'll start with the goalies, which is what I would assume to be the. I would actually. I'm gonna lie there. Actually, I would assume one of these guys will be the starter in Bloomington full time, and the other guy will be a backup to Caden Premu in the AHL. Okay, I thought I
Not
crashed. Sorry.
Greensboro.
What did I say?
You said Bloomington.
Okay, I got confused because they have Bloomington listed on this
Ah,
thing.
that's fair.
It
Yeah.
blanked. So I would assume one of these two is going to be in Greensboro as the full-time starter, and the other one will be the backup to Caden Premu because thanks to Ugg, who did a translation of an Amir Miftakov interview, Miftakov said that the Canes want him at the NHL level. So,
which is really interesting because the Canes have Kochetkov and Anderson.
I think I mentioned it to you, but like if this was next year, it would make a lot of sense because you can carry the third goalie. But for now, it's
Right.
like weird. I mean, in any case, the two goalies they're going to bring are Nikita Kwap and Ruslan Hajayev. Thankfully, I'm happy that Ruslan Hajayev is going to go because he just desperately needs game time wherever he is. He needs to get experience playing the goaltender position because he's not even 21. He's 20 still. And he's played a full professional season of hockey in North America. That's, and the season, you can say whatever you want to say about it. I've said it's really not as bad as it looks, but he still has a lot of growth, a lot of room to grow, and he does. But he just needs to play hockey. Nikita Kwap, who we all, and I think I can actually say that we all assumed was not. I thought he wasn't going to come to North America, even though Eric Tolsky, whenever he signed, said he was coming to North America, but he is still technically under contract in the DEL2.
Yes.
So I would assume Nikita Kwap is North America bound. I have not been told otherwise. I haven't seen anything otherwise. So that
Right.
is what.
But
And if we look at the roster, no other European players are here. So I would assume Nikita Kwap is going to be either a backup in Chicago or the starter in Greensboro. And those two as your goalies are kind of, I mean, I think that's cool. You have big, lanky goalies who just need work. And why not just have them play against a bunch of younger guys and see what they can do?
yeah, and I think with, the Europeans, the reason why they haven't uh, you know, been in
Sorry.
attendance at this tournament. I was gonna say haven't been invited, but that's not wrong, or that's not right. Like
They would,
they're
I mean,
not going to be
I was
here.
going to say they would probably want one of the, I mean, if they could get Semyon Frolov there, I think they would want Semyon Frolov
The
there, but
Canes would
no
dummy
way.
this tournament if they were allowed to
Son.
get the Europeans.
Oh my god.
It's just because their seasons are starting. Like the
Yeah.
KHL season starts on Monday, like you said. Like
No,
it just
VHL
doesn't.
starts on Monday. KHL, I think, is Thursday.
Oh, VHL starts early. Oh, weird. KHL used to start September 1st
MHL
every year.
also starts early as well.
Gotcha. Okay, so then yeah, it's just one of those things where I think the team would probably have preferred to get their Euros, but the seasons are starting by this point, or their pre-seasons are well underway, so it doesn't make any sense to get most players here.
Yeah, it would also just be
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
tough.
if Miftakov, I mean, if he can push Anderson or
Oh, thank
Kochetkov, it'll
God.
be interesting.
Sorry,
Wrestling.
there was a rumor that Chris Jericho was going to appear on ROH tonight, and thank the heavens above, Chris Jericho did not appear on Ring of Honor tonight. So marked safe from having to watch Chris Jericho wrestle in 2025. Okay,
For today.
don't do that. I don't watch WWE. His contract expires at the end. WWE wants him back. Ni hao.
Why? Okay, anyways.
That's a discussion for another day.
Anyways.
The defensemen they are bringing. We have Alexei Salmi, Braden Doyle, a invite. Charles Lexus
Kings draft pick, by the way.
good for you. Charles Lexus Legault, Yoel Nystrom, Dominic Badinka, Josh McGregor, and a name that I actually recognize, shockingly enough, in Jonas Wu. I
Yep.
think that's sick. He played for that really unbelievable Medicine Hat team last year with Gavin McKenna, and he's 5'9", but he is, exactly what you would think a 5'9" defenseman is. And I like that, I stand up for short kings. My short
Short
defensemen, I
Kings,
stand up
hell
for
yeah.
them. I'm proud to like them. That sounds weird. But it's basically just the Chicago AHL core. You have Jaime Salmi, Legault, Nystrom, Badinka. All those guys are going to be, well, 3 of those guys are going to be playing every day in the AHL. And, you're going to get Badinka and Nystrom more experience, which is perfect because, again, they just need time acclimating. I think Nystrom's going to be really, really good against kids at this point because,
He's been
he
playing
is
against Ben for 3 years.
he is 23 years old as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing.
He's on the young side for this roster.
Yeah, Charles Lexus Legault should also be the captain. If I'm picking a captain, I'm going Legault every day of the week. You could make an argument for 1 or 2 other guys. I'm going Charles Lexus Legault. That is my captain. Oh, captain, my captain, the French Canadian. This is just Badinka, Nystrom, and Legault is already. It's hard to say a team has a better defensive core than that at this tournament.
Yeah, and then you throw in Himasalmi, who had a tough year but still was a second-round pick. Josh McGregor intrigues me a little bit, being the only 07 invite here. He's 6'3". He's a little slight, but he played for Swift Current this past year. Given some of the CHL talent that was picked in this draft, I'm a little surprised that
he's a 6'3" guy. I can't believe they
I'm a
skipped
little
over him.
surprised that he did not get picked because, again, every other CHL player that was draft eligible and 6'3" or above got picked. So
I'm gonna look up his scouting report. So keep going.
Yeah, he's relatively young. because he's a June birthday. So this at least, intrigues me a little bit. Um, it seems like he's a good skater just from what I'm reading, and
That was the big thing that stuck out to me is his skating grade is the highest. This seems like they also have him listed at 6'3". The Elite Prospects draft guide from a couple months ago has him at 6'1". So somebody's lying, or he grew
yeah.
2 inches. But I mean, a 6 on skating, a 5 passing, a 5 physical, 4.5s for shooting and sense.
And last year was his first
Hmm.
ever season in the dub. So it
They
wouldn't
also
shock me at
sorry,
all if he
my bad.
gets drafted as an overage player.
I
But sorry,
No, you're
I
good.
was
I'm
just
trying to see when you're stopping.
no,
Your
sorry, I was
sentence
just
is
gonna say
stopping.
like but like I don't want to get too much into an invite.
Yeah. But also his micro statistics tracked by Mitchell Brown. They look good. Everything's positive. The only thing that's actually negative is control entries per 60. That's it. And it's not
Which is
even that
fine
bad.
because, like, as a 6'3" defenseman, as a rookie, you're probably not running a ton of controlled entries.
I think this is a guy that the Canes want to get at least an earlier look on. And, if
Hmm.
he has a good year and they're going to get a very good viewing of him in the 3 games, I think it's going to be some that it intrigues them, and maybe they'll look for him going forward. Now, the forward core, the top line is going to be so unbelievably overpowered. I feel
Yeah.
bad. Your top line is going to be a 30 plus AHL goal scorer as a 19-year-old in Bradley Nadeau. Your center is going to be a highly skilled mini beer fridge in Ivan Ryabkin. Your right winger is going to be Felix Unger Sorum. That's
Yeah.
stupid, man.
It's,
No other
it's
team can match that. That's
yeah. The only team I can think of is maybe Nashville.
Are they have they announced a roster yet?
I don't know if they have, but Brady Martin's obviously going to be there. There's going to be
That was the let me see. Nashville Predators prospect showcase.
and here's the thing: like, if Ryabkin, you want to try him out on the wing, you've got Justin Robida and Blake Biondi who can play
Okay,
center
they
too.
have announced a roster for it.
They have.
Okay, this team actually looks kind of fun. Ooh, this team looks really fun. It looks like they're going to bring Kamel, Martin, Reed Schaefer,
Yep.
Edstrom, Matthew Wood,
Damn. Okay, so this is going to be a really solid roster.
and then Austin Rose, Oasis, Weisblatt. Their defense is actually kind of sick. Because I'm a big fan of. I really like Cameron Reed, and then they're
Mhm.
also bringing Tanner Molendick and Ryan Ufko, who should not be a guy. He's an 03. So Cole O'Hara's an 02. What are we
You
doing?
say he's an 03. Carolina has 2 players born in 2000 on their roster.
We haven't gotten there yet. And then
I'm just saying, like, they're not like.
Andrew Gibson and Alex Huang. But their goalies are going to be Jacob Mailata and TJ Temp
Pelter.
Hempelter, the goalie from it. I really only know him from Arizona State. Okay, back to the
Yeah.
Hurricanes. So the forwards, obviously, we mentioned Nadeau, Ungersorum, and Ryabkin. They're also going to bring along Philip Ekberg, Justin Robida, Evan Vierling, Tyler Weiss, Denny Gore, who did he go to camp? Am I remembering Denny Gore
He
going to
was
camp?
he was a previous prospect showcase invite.
Because I remember we talked about him recently. I could have sworn.
Yeah, he signed with Chicago in the
That's what
AHL.
I. Yeah, and you said something about that. And then David, Gagnon,
Yeah, and
Gagnon,
also Blake
Gagnon,
Biondi.
Blake Biondi, who I cannot believe I missed because I can't read. And then the return, 2 traumatic leg injuries later, a lot of fish caught in Russia later. He is finally back. He is healthy, and we're all excited. Gleb Trikozov. He's back. He gets his own special thing because he deserves it.
On what merit?
He has a cool name, and he broke
Okay.
his leg twice in the same year.
I see. Okay.
Some people just want to see Gleb play again, Matt. Is that such an
I
impossible
want to
thing
see him
to root
succeed.
for?
I do, because he dominated this tournament last year. I
Doesn't
think he had a hat
sound
trick.
like it, Matthew.
I'm just not on the Gleb hype train yet, and I'm allowed to.
Oh, my hand's white. Ooh, sorry.
I'm allowed to have my doubts. I will
Whatever.
say the forward core here excites me. I think that there's a lot of potential here.
I would say the top 6 excites me because the top 6 is obviously going to be Nadeau, Ungersorum, Ryabkin, and then it's going to I would assume it's Ekberg, Robida, Trikozov. That would be my assumed top 6. Actually, it might be Robida instead of
prospects, and then the Greensboro Gargoyle top 6.
Thinking about it, Robida would probably play over Ryabkin on the top line, just because. Yeah, so that second line would then be Ekberg, Ryabkin, and Trikozov, and Ryabkin, Trikozov, same line. Sign me up. That is appointment viewing.
Nobody other than Ekberg is passing on that.
Popcorn, multiple Coors Lights right here. I am watching
Is
that.
The meme is like absolute cinema.
Dude, Martin Scorsese's going to be watching that. Are you kidding me? That's sick, dude.
None of the forward invites really excite me, to be honest. It's cool seeing Tyler Weiss.
Because he's a Raleigh kid.
Yeah, but and I will say there's former NHL draft picks here. Like Braden Doyle was a 6th round pick, even though he's on defense. Former 6th round pick of the Kings. Tyler Weiss was, I believe, a 4th round pick of Colorado.
You said who was it that you mentioned there?
Tyler Weiss.
They normally have it in here, and they don't. So
Elite Prospects page, I believe
I wasn't on Elite Prospects. I don't know where I recognize the name Evan Vierling from, but
he was a New York Rangers draft pick.
That's maybe where I saw it, but I mean,
I believe he's also signed with Chicago. I could be wrong.
I'm 90% sure he is, but I also saw he was over a point per game in 21 of those games in the ECHL. As soon as I can spit it out.
And again, it's one of those things where it's like, you're really just like getting a look. And this is the first year Carolina's had an ECHL affiliate. I'm pretty sure since Dundon bought the team, because when Carmanos sold the team, the Everblades weren't a part of the Hurricane system anymore.
Okay, no, Evan Vierling is signed. I just didn't scroll down enough.
Okay, yeah. So and then Blake Biondi's signed. So it's a lot of guys that are looking for big roles with Chicago, because Chicago won't. I mean, with the addition of Ryabkin, now the forward core looks a little bit better, but it's going to be a very young roster.
Back to back, absolutely young AHL teams. That makes great viewings for me because, Chicago had struggles at times last year, but it made it enjoyable because I was watching basically the entire team was prospects. So anytime they scored, I would have something to post about. And I'm glad that I could kind of get to do that again this year, even though I'm still trying to keep it to just the Canes affiliated prospects. So guys like, Vierling and, well, Vierling also wouldn't count because he's 23, but so yeah.
Denny Gore.
Hey man, you never know. Actually, I might do it. Might do it. Yeah, we're killing it tonight. I might do it for Jonas and Josh because they are 06, 07.
Yeah, and Jonas Wu, this is his first year of draft eligibility because he's a
late 06.
Late 06.
So
I think with those two, those are going to be the invites to watch from the two
actual ones.
Yeah, Carolina's not going to offer these kids a contract after a good prospect showcase, but it like we saw, Denny Gore was a prospect invite years ago and signed in the AHL with the team. So like that's something where, if these guys
It's
impress,
yeah.
maybe they get drafted. More likely the team has them on file for like, okay, if they turn pro, this is what they'll look like.
That is 1,000% true. Dang, I should have done a small thing. College football is back, thank God. And that's been a big thing with my job. We would have recorded another time during the week. And I honestly, Thursday would have been nice, but I work at a radio station at my college, and Thursday I had to work a football game. There was a post game call in show.
Ooh, I
I
bet that was fun.
There was a lot of drunk people that called, and it was one of them was really depressing, but another one was a dude, and I couldn't stop laughing. And thank God you can't hear me because they have a soundproof booth. But I was dying because you could tell he was super drunk, and he just went, they were down, and then at halftime we all went tarps off, and he just kept saying tarps off throughout the entirety of the thing, and I couldn't
You know
stop
what? Good for
laughing at that.
him.
Yeah, it didn't work, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, the tarps off didn't decidedly not work,
No,
but
Wake Forest also. The reason I was reacting, Wake Forest beat Kennesaw State by one singular point in the year of our Lord. It was also
that's
a 10-9 game. Back to hockey, which is our main
10
focus,
to
of
9
course.
game.
You heard
Golly,
me.
that's
Back
awful.
to our main focus, which is hockey. So as we've mentioned, I'm getting ready anyways for Russian regular season hockey, which rolls in this upcoming week. And I said it on Twitter. I made a big point about it. I would like to give a large shout out, and I know they're never going to hear this unless there is one person that listens to this and regularly reads the Canes Prospects Substack that I know for a fact will spread this propaganda over to Russia. I would like to give a large shout out to Metallurg Novokuznetsk and what their coaching staff is doing, because they have revitalized Alexander Perevelov's career. He went from dead in the water last year, and I'm going to say that very bluntly. He was dead in the water because he struggled heavily.
I was heavily considering writing him off as a prospect.
He was just gone. It was bad. It was disgusting. And what happened was he gets moved to Metallurg Novokuznetsk, and I was like, I'm interested in it. It's okay. And then he just tears it up, and I go,
Hmm.
okay. And then I start watching the film, and he's becoming the player that he was drafted for again. And I go, all right, yeah, I'm bought in. Alexander Perevelov, you might be back. And we get to the preseason this year. He led the team in points, and he was scoring in a good few ways. It was mainly on the power play, but it was in the bumper net front. He was working real well, and I was
Yeah.
pretty happy about it. So I'm very happy to see that he's got his career on track, and if he gets a fully healthy year, I'm going to be so happy. And if he gets back on track, because also he only has 1 year on his contract left. So that's another interesting thing to look out for. I'm not saying he's going to be NHL ready within the year, because that's not going to happen.
No.
But he could, if he wants to make a move, he might be a guy that, could go to Chicago next year if everything works out for him.
Yeah, I mean, the skating has always been elite. He's always had really good puck skills. It's just kind of everything else that really didn't take a step forward. And then he's finally found that stride. So I think that there's a decent chance,
Oh, you
that
oh
he
I,
gets.
I can't tell when you stop talking or you're like
Sorry,
trying to
I'm
formulate
very
a thought.
deliberate when I talk. I think there's a decent chance that he could revitalize his career. I think the projectable tools are there. For me, I'm just not quite sure what the ceiling is again.
Yeah, it's gonna depend a lot this year, and they taken on another Hurricanes. I'm gonna still call him a prospect for now, but they've taken on another Hurricanes draft pick prospect as a as a developmental case in Nikita Guslitsov, who has fluctuated between their third line center. He's moved to center full time now, from what I've seen. Moved to center full time. He's fluctuated between third line center and first line center, and
Mm-hmm.
he's looked okay. He had a really good goal where he stripped the puck off somebody, took it, and just somehow broke away from everybody and made a nasty move one-on-one and scored. Got tripped as well. So I don't know. He's another guy that I want to see more of. But if he can have a reclamation reclamation project go right, again, I'm going to shake Metallurg Nova Kuznetsov's coaching staff's hand one day, maybe. Probably not.
I think Guslistov. I mean, like there were times when he was playing in the KHL that I was like, okay, like I kind of see the vision, like he's got a decent shot, but like I didn't really see a ton, and maybe this gives him the opportunity he needs to kind of hone some tools. But like for right now, I'm still like not too sure what to think of him.
Yeah. There's also, he's played with Severstal, he's played with Dynamo Minsk, he's played with Admiral, and now he's with Metallurg Novokuznetsk, who was just VHL. They don't have a KHL team. They were a KHL team at one time. Fun fact. But they, I guess,
It is
lost
a fun
funding and
fact.
became a VHL team. I don't know if that's going to happen with Vityaz in like 2030 whenever they're eligible to come back, but they have no money, so
That does cause some problems.
I have heard not having money is a big issue in today's society. Sticking in Russia, Alexander Suryatsky is a guy
Yes.
that I did not rate very highly on the left-handed defenseman rankings. But I don't know if I also said it a while ago, but he's a guy that I wouldn't be shocked if he rose up the rankings, because it was one of those guys I didn't really get to see a lot of, and he had a very weird developmental year. But then this preseason, my God, he's become a whole. I wouldn't say a different player, but he's become a different player than what I saw when I watched him last
Yeah.
year. His skating is unbelievably good. That should be
Yes.
one of the first things I say. I posted his power play assist today. Fun. Um, the way he found space and whenever he got to the blue line to get more space to get his shot off was very, very good. He's an effortless skater. His defense was better than his offense last year, if I am not mistaken. I could be very wrong, and maybe I'll get maybe somebody will tell me I'm completely wrong, and I would be like, okay, I'm not going to disagree because I'm terrified. But he looked good defensively last year. The offense wasn't coming through a lot. That's been the big difference. His offense is coming through in droves now, because he's been playing this preseason with Metallurg, the KHL team, and he's been
Mhm.
running a power play unit. Today he was running it, I believe it was the top unit, because they had Roman Kantsarov on it. But I don't
Yeah,
know if Roman
and he's
Kantsarov.
he got second pairing minutes today.
Yeah, and he got top pairing
Um,
minutes. He's gotten top pairing minutes a couple times throughout the preseason for Metallurg. So
yeah, and I mean he projects so well to that league because he's 6'4". He's relatively big. He's what's
he's bulked a lot more recently, because
yeah,
he was
183 pounds is what Elite
tiny.
Prospect has. It wouldn't shock me if he's closer to like the 190, 195
He was
range.
tiny when he was drafted.
Yeah, and he's just the type of guy that is like when he was drafted, he needed to get filled. He needed to fill out, and I think that the Hurricanes saw somebody that skated really well, had a little bit of offensive upside, defended very well, and we'll see what happens. And with Siriatsky, it's early, but it's looking like he could be at least a relatively regular KHL player this year.
I've kind of said it a couple times, but I think this is going to be a tweener year. He'll probably split time getting top 4 top pairing minutes in the VHL, and then if Metallurg need a guy he would definitely be like first on their call up list because he has the ability to run a power play unit, and he has run a very good power play unit so
Yeah, would
far.
it
For
shock you though if he starts the season with them?
no, I wouldn't shock me at all, but I just think his role this year will be a tweener. That's kind
Yeah,
of
I
my
liked him a
point.
lot at Dev Camp actually.
We have a whole episode about Dev Camp. You can go watch or
I know.
listen
I'm
to
just
that.
adding to the conversation here.
Okay, man. And I guess lastly, the last thing I have on my list, obviously, there's probably more that we could talk about if we really wanted to. Um, Everybody knows Nick's personal opinion about Igor Velmikin as a human being and as a player. As a
Yes.
human being, great guy. I've said it a lot. When I got to meet him 2 years ago, sadly at this point, at Dev Camp, nicest dude you would ever talk to. Just a happy-go-lucky guy, kind of like how Yarvoy was this year, where
Yeah, your boy
he
was
was just
definitely
ecstatic to be there and see like all the fans and all the people that like cared about him, even though he plays in Russia. He was ecstatic to see that,
yes.
and Yarvoy was that way this year. Velmikin was that way 2 years ago. He was happy to be in Carolina. He was happy to see a lot of people come out to a prospect development camp. He was just happy. And it came through that way. And I think people saw that. And, I as a player, I'm intrigued about what his potential can be because the stats at the KHL level were interesting. There was a lot of good moments, and there was also a lot of shaky moments, and he didn't really get a big enough sample size for anybody to really make a big claim about him yet. Thankfully, after Dynamo Minsk, finally, after probably a year too late, moved him to Dynamo St. Petersburg, so he will now play with Timur Cole, which is kind of sick. And he's also going to the VHL. And Oleg on social media, and I can say that because he posted it as a comment. Um, he Oleg is very bullish on Velmikin, and he said that this is going to be a good opportunity for him to get starts. He said,
Yes.
he will probably be the starter there. If that's the case, I love it because again, this is an interesting goalie who has good fundamentals. I wouldn't say he's explosive. That's not what I see. I kind of see a more technically sound goalie who's
Hmm.
calm comparatively to a lot of the other Hurricanes goalies who are explosive and not calm. So it's an interesting change of pace. Why are
Hmm.
you laughing at me?
I'm laughing because I wrote and somebody reminded me of it in the draft post that I did, describing Nikita Quap as like a calmer style goalie and not subscribing to the Pyotr Kochetkov
Oh,
style
we don't
goaltending.
we don't we don't need to. Because I
But
also
I
saw.
can't share the full
No,
quote.
you because I know the quote you're talking about. Why does he
Yes.
look like the Predator? Sorry, um, Bandido is coming out and he has like a Predator mask. I mean, it looks kind of sick, but just freaked me out. Velmikin, he's like the antithesis of what Hurricanes have drafted recently because he's calm. He's not like a explosive mover. He's a good athlete, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
he's not a guy that you're going to like be insanely shocked that he's making these unbelievable saves. He's going to be a guy that is in the right place at the right time, not
Well,
have to go across the goal.
that's just the thing. If the goalie's making these unbelievable saves, chances are they're
They're
not going to
not in
save.
the they're not in the right place at the right time. Velmikin
Yes.
is normally in the right place at the right time. Um, he's not overly tall. He's not 6'6" like
He's
Hajayev.
like 6'1".
He's 6'1". Frolov is 6'4". Like those are the two most recent goalies they drafted. They're huge. They're explosive. Velmikin's a little bit smaller, but a lot more technically sound. And I think, have a good year with a VHL team getting a majority of the starts, going to a level you're going to be comfortable at because it's the nice middle ground. It's not as good as the
Hmm.
KHL. Perfectly fine. It is miles better than the Belarus League. And I truly mean that. The
Yeah.
Belarus League stinks. It is I don't think I ever watched a Dynamo Molodechno game because one, it is incredibly hard to find. First up, second off, the league is just not good. So going to the VHL where he's going to be playing good competition still and probably
Yes.
getting a majority of the starts is the best thing for him, especially going into a year where he does not have a contract for next year that I know of, because the terms around him moving. First up, Dynamo Minsk never gave him a goodbye post. He had to do it himself on Instagram. Dynamo Minsk never wished him goodbye. Yeah, I like that reaction finally.
So it sounds like he left the team.
That's what I assume, but Dynamo St. Petersburg, if I could be wrong, did not announce a contract extension. So I would assume it's just the 1 year still.
Yeah, he probably left and is finishing out his contract with
Yeah, that's what I would assume. But long story short, this is a really good move for Velmakin.
Agreed.
It is the best move for his development, and I wish him nothing but the best in Dynamo St. Petersburg, and I hope he and Timur Cole become best friends.
I think Timur Cole will. I think Velmakin will like Timur Cole because of how good he is defensively.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think with the amount of hockey coming up, like we're getting close. It's going to be interesting. I mean, like Russia is where the majority of Carolina's prospects are.
Ain't that
We
right?
haven't, so obviously, like the World Juniors are going to suck for us.
I mean, um,
It's
Vigo,
just
Vigo, Vigo,
Nordland and
Vigo Nordland and Philip Ekberg.
and Justin Poirier should be invited, but he won't be.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna just hate to break it to you now, man. I've already kind of written nothing against Poirier because I like Poirier, but
It's all Hockey Canada.
you try and make any point about Hockey Canada. If you try and say, yeah, this player should be invited, brother, I didn't think Nadeau. They were talking like Nadeau wasn't even going to sniff the team last year, and somehow he ended up being one of their halfway decent players at that camp, and he still wasn't even used in the right way.
Yes.
So, but yeah, they really need to invite Russia back, man. I need to.
I mean, Russia. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but they should probably also stop bombing
I was
Ukraine.
okay. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing
Like
with
I
that.
get that the hockey players have nothing to do with it, but
We are.
optically,
We should also
the
very
way
much so clarify we are not a geopolitical channel.
no,
we
the
are. We are
way the way
prospects.
Russian hockey works is it's very much tied politically to the country, so it it would be complicated bringing them back, and I
Even
think it would
though,
overall be unpopular.
yeah. I will say though, it seems like since what was it? What was I seeing about IIH the NHL going forward without the IIHF or something?
I don't know. I'll
I
be
could
honest.
be.
I haven't really been plugged into all that.
I could have been pulling that on my behind, but like if we go through just to have fun and fill time, if we're looking at like a Team Russia that the Hurricanes could send for a World Juniors team, you could make a good argument for Semyon Frolov being a goalie. You can make a great argument for Semyon Frolov being a goalie there. Um, let's keep going here. Who else can I?
Artemonov.
Does Alexander Rykov fit, or is he 20 now? He is
No,
20 now,
he's
unfortunately.
too old. So
Okay, so
my picks would be
I think
Artemonov,
Artemonov, Limitov has to go.
Limitov, Cole.
I think, yeah, Cole. I think you could make an argument for Andrei Krutov at this point.
You can also make an argument for Avramov,
That was gonna be the next player out of my gullet here. I think
Siriatsky.
I was gonna say Siriatsky. I think might would dude. I am having a blast. Um, he would probably be a guy that gets a good look. And I would
And
say
then
like maybe Bausov gets a nice shot because he's a
I was going
righty.
to say Shakrin and Bausov are probably on the bubble with Krutov and Avramov.
So there would be a solid group of like if they ever tried to do it, there'd be and I don't know his standing, but I would also say Ryabkin would probably also.
Oh shoot, yeah, Ryabkin, duh.
So I would also say Ryabkin is another guy that would probably, I would say he would make a lock for that roster. So
Yeah, no.
they would
So
have a good
they
7
would have they
guys,
would have a solid 30% of team
seven
pressure.
to 8 guys of heavy consideration. There would be a good four or 5 that would be like locks,
Yeah,
which is sickening. Because man, can I please just see my boys play on the international stage? And again, I
and
understand the
not against
geopolitics of it
Belarus.
all. Like, can we like, please? It's just something that I want to see personally. But again, I'm not into the geopolitics of it all. I am Kane's prospects on everything. That is what I am. I'm a prospect guy. That's what I am.
So true.
I'm gonna go through my flash score here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Speaking of Avramov, he is still getting hoed by Sochi. He's with them for the KHL preseason. I think he's played 1 game on the 4th line, and that's it. He hasn't even sniffed the ice again.
Is his contract up at the end of the year?
See, if that was the case, they've been doing this stuff since last year, so they
Well,
won't get a
no.
pass.
The reason I'm asking
But
that
yes, his
is
contract
so that
is up at the end of next. Yeah,
great, he can go elsewhere next year.
I pray to dude. I cannot. Sochi is very annoying. Nikita
I could see
Artemonov.
him getting moved this year.
I wouldn't be shocked. Nikita Artemonov is also getting hoed, which is incredibly shocking to me because he was your top scorer last year. And he's been your 4th line or 13th forward for the majority of the preseason. What's going on there? What's even funnier is that the Torpedo coach now is the VHL coach from last year, the guy who won the championship, who used Artemonov in a top 6 role to win that championship. Why is he getting screwed now?
I don't know.
We've already talked about Siryatsky. Alexander Rykov has actually been good. He's been used kind of all over the place. He's been top line a couple times. He's been bottom 6 a couple times. I think he has like 2 assists in 3 games in the preseason. He got one. He got a secondary today, and he got a primary that I posted a couple days ago. But Tractor is kind of a weird. Their forward group is incredibly deep. I think I've mentioned that a couple times, but like you can go through. They have Sergei Dragonchinsev, Leafs legend, Josh Lievo, Canes legend,
Canes and Wolves legend.
and also Leafs legend, Mikhail Grigorenko, Pierre Dubé, Hurricanes prospect legend Yegor Korshkov, and then obviously Alexander Rykov. And they also have Chris Drieger as their goalie.
Wow. That's a crazy team.
Spartak Moscow lost to Shanghai today. The Gerard Gallant-led Shanghai Dragons.
That's just an insane collab.
Stanislav Yarovoy, who has been playing a good amount, and he's kind of been on their top line for the most part. He did not play today, which is kind of disappointing because I kind of wanted to see him, Alexander Pashin, and Joey Keane play, which would have been.
It's like a who's who of prospects that just did not
Dude,
work out.
it's the most fun thing when I get to see this. I think an interesting one that I do need to talk about a little bit that I didn't have written down. Simon Forsmark played in Timra's first preseason game, has not played since. I asked some people that watch SHL hockey regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told they have no idea.
Great, that's helpful. I mean, would it shock me if they're just like, I mean, Forsmark's our guy. Like, we don't need to.
But the thing is, most of their regulars have been playing, so that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just one of those things.
I'm sorry, you're gay.
I know I'm rainbowing again.
Here,
Well, I mean, it's just to be one of
you're
those things
super
where
happy.
like, you know, we know what we have in Forsmark, so
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Oscar Voulet has kind of just been in the same role he was last year, where he was a bottom 6 forward.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that he did a whole lot to impress me. in the times that I've seen him, but we'll see.
At dev camp, it was also more the fact that I was looking at guys that I had never seen before in person. I saw Voulet last year and I liked what I saw. This year, I had never seen some other guys, so I was trying to just look at them first to make
Yeah.
sure I was getting the first view. But yeah, am I missing any team? I have it in my 16 thoughts, which won't come out until probably next Wednesday. But it's very weird this year not to be watching any SKA hockey.
I know, yeah.
This is because I've had the account for what 2 years at this point. This is my
Yeah.
second full year running the account from the regular season. Because last year was all me. This year was all me. I don't know
23,
if
24 was all you too.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, 23, 24 was your, yeah, so this is your third year.
Jesus Christ, I'm old.
You're getting old.
Don't do that. I can do it to myself. You can't do it to me. That's messed up. Yeah, but this is the first year I have had to watch no SKA hockey.
I know.
No Nikishin.
I
And
was gonna say we should do like a prospect hype ranking just of guys that have the most hype on the prospects account.
I think here's the thing. Nikishin is you can't dethrone him.
No, you can't. But like the only prospects that push the needle as much as Nikishin did are probably Nadeau and Artemonov.
I think Artemonov is still miles behind Nadeau. I think Nadeau has kind of separated himself as the second place contender, and then I would go Artemonov. I think Andrei Krutov, who I completely forgot to talk about, which I meant to, he signed a new contract extension. Don't do that,
He
man.
did. I did see that. It was 2 years.
You saw it because I had posted it. But
Yeah.
yes, he is signed on for. He is signed on for. It's actually technically just a 1-year extension, but he signed on. He is now signed on for this year and next year, and then it expires again.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a 2 year as well, but it's not. And I kind of wish I would have
had
talked
like a
about.
good year last year though, so like it
He
wouldn't
was
shock me.
good last
Yeah,
year.
it wouldn't
I said
shock
that.
me if he has some upside.
Man, how many times have I talked to you about Andrei Krutov at this point to be like, hey man, this guy's kind of sick, and you're like, yeah, I know. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked what I've seen. It's mostly been what you post, but you know,
Yeah. That was
I don't have Instat anymore. It's hard.
what a shame.
It is.
I can't watch Shift by Shift. Oh man.
Well, yeah. How else am I going to like? I'm sorry that I can't tune into KHO games all the time.
They're in the morning, man. You can always tune in.
I'm not a morning person.
For shame. Well, I also have a 9 a.m. class every day, so it's
That's tough.
slightly different. I'm not. Here's the thing: Mondays and Wednesdays I'm done before noon, so I can just do whatever I want.
So
Which
it's
means for those days, and I have games on those days, I'll be able to watch those games entirety.
I was gonna say because a lot of KHL games start like
10, 11 noon is like their big time, unless you're
and then the
Admiral.
SHL is usually starting around noon as well.
Unless you're Admiral, who starts most of their home games at 4 in the morning.
Well, yeah, because Admiral is quite literally like in the same time zone as Japan, I think.
They're out there. I'm trying to make sure I haven't forgotten any like talking about anybody for like their preseason. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when we're gonna record next because like we've kind of done the prospect showcase preview already.
And the big, I would guess like after the showcase, like, hey, these guys were good. Hey, this guy
Yeah,
was
we'll
weird.
do
I
like
don't
a
know.
thing. I guess we could plug like I'm
Plug.
working on another Kane's drafts thing.
Oh yeah. I should have. We should have. I should have done that. Said something about that, but like I was gonna take a break from writing for like a week or two just so I can get used to being back in school, but that ended up I didn't realize how much free time I was actually gonna have. But I was gonna be like, hey, you go read Matt's stuff because I probably won't. But
I was gonna say you could probably read that post, and by the time you're finished, Nick will be back to writing.
yeah, I'm well I this will go up Sunday, so I will have had something up. I will officially be done with the positional rankings though, which probably means I lied. I said I was gonna have 16 thoughts by Wednesday. Never mind. No, I probably just won't. I might take a break sometime, but I'll say something about it. But
The grind never stops.
I won't take a break from the prospects account, of course. It
No,
would just be from writing for a little
scrolling
bit.
through Twitter is it's not as hard as writing is.
Yeah, writing takes a lot, and it's very time consuming to make sure I have everything correct and have everything that I want to say.
Yeah, so
So
today I was working on my I'm doing another draft thing. It's gonna be a lot shorter just because I don't have as much to say about the earlier drafts, just because like I was a very young Canes fan.
yeah.
But I was writing about the old drafts, and it's very clear to see. I mean, yes, Rutherford and or Carmanos didn't spend money on the team, and that's why they sucked. But like, they also traded away almost every draft pick.
Hmm.
Like, it is
Um.
insane how many picks they traded. I'll do a final count at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. There's really not much other uh talk I have to do for preseason. We kind of
No,
covered it all. A lot of
yeah, I
guys
mean, by the
haven't
time we
started their
record next, it'll
preseason
be
as
the
well.
prospect showcase, and then probably some other Euro preseasons and a little bit of KHL,
I was
VHL,
gonna
NHL action.
say, yeah, most of that's starting. Yeah, I think we're good. Just crossed the hour mark, so that's good enough for me.
I am quite
Does that say
satisfied as well.
Jaden Halbawax? Oh my god. Is that how
What
you
is
say
he
that
up
name?
to?
He just left Shanghai to go to HC Sierre.
I have no idea what that is.
That is the Swiss league.
Ah, well, good luck to him.
Yeah. I don't know. I just looked to. I just went to the main page of elite prospects just because I wanted to. I don't know.
Well, well, folks, thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
Actually, I lied. I do want to.
JK, there's more.
um, I wanted to do. I don't know how I'm gonna find this very easily within the next like 2 seconds. Okay, actually, well, no, that's not it. Where is
I can fill audio for you if you want.
I found the 2024, but I need the 2025.
2025 what?
2025 U23 rankings that Pronman did for the Athletic.
I don't want to talk about that.
I want to talk about that because I have some thoughts about that. Okay. I have some thoughts and feelings about that I can't I didn't want to vocalize because I didn't really know how I wanted to
Let me
say it
pull it
correctly.
up.
Oh, don't be so sad. I have to sit here for
So
another
the Hurricanes
10
also
minutes.
ranked.
So you sound like.
Wow, the Hurricane. That's real mature. The Hurricanes ranked 18th in his pipeline rankings.
We're not, 1 and 2. We have no reason to talk about because they are not prospects anymore, but they are Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake. Perfect.
Are we
Nikita
sure that was
Artamonta.
Corey Pronman?
This is I'm staring at it. Corey Pronman, August 26, 2025. Player rankings. Number 1, Logan Stankoven. Makes sense. Number 2, Jackson Blake. Makes sense. Nikita Artamonov. Over Bradley Nadeau. And you could. I'm going to put very large quotation marks around could make an argument for Nikita Artamonov over Bradley Nadeau. I am not going to make that argument because, in my opinion, it's dumb. I love Nikita Artamonov with all my heart. I think he's going to be a great Carolina Hurricane within the next 2 years. I'm going to confidently say that now. Because after 2 years, he has nothing to prove in the KHL because he just had a great year. He's probably going to have a decent year this year if he gets the right playing time. And then he has one more year after that. He's going to be fine. Bradley Nadeau, before he was legally allowed to drink beer in the United States, scored 30 plus goals at the professional level. I don't know many players that do that.
There haven't been many.
So
I think
make the argument. Make the Artemonov over Nadeau argument.
style of play. So Corey, and this is why like
Artemonov. I love Artemonov. He's not scoring 30 plus to the NHL level eventually. All I'm saying.
there's
He's
no
never doing that.
guarantee, and then Nadeau is either, and that's kind of what that's kind of what,
I would put money on Bradley Nadeau eventually scoring 30 or more goals in an NHL season. At some point in his NHL career, I would put money on that.
so I have to behave a little bit. for reasons that I can't quite say yet, but soon, hopefully.
Teaser.
So I have to be nice.
It's just such a weird argument to try and make.
I respect the work that the national prospect writers do. It's a hard job. However, if you're gonna put out crap, gotta defend it.
I kind of
And like,
that's a big
well, no, let
thing.
me get this out because this
Oh,
is
my
this is gonna be a
apologies.
mini rant, and I'm sorry in advance. The the 2 to 3 sentence blurbs that Corey does, maybe a paragraph on each prospect. That's not getting into the nitty gritty of why this player's ranked over this player. And honestly, you know, the way he writes about prospects and the little points he makes of like, oh, it's like the compete high end, like this is NHL average, or this, like, he doesn't explain why it's this, and he uses words that are like, oh, this player's elite at, he's got elite hockey sense, but then you rate the hockey sense as like above NHL average. That's two different things, right? So like, it's hard to look at that and say, okay, this is exactly why he thinks Artemonov is going to be a better player. And it's also hard to say, oh, this is why he thinks Nadeau might not be. Just having read Corey's stuff over the years, he has a bias towards players that play. I'm rainbowing again. I know. I'm so sorry for the visual. I don't know what it is with the lighting in here. Anyways, with him, he has a bias towards players that play a more physical brand of hockey, that are grittier and just have the higher compete. Nadeau doesn't have, his compete's average. Like, just in yes,
Now,
he
to be
gets,
fair, funnily enough, Nikita Artemonov for Prominent rankings, his compete is NHL average. Bradley Nadeau's is above NHL average.
which then he needs to explain why. Because I actually think like Nadeau, he works hard, but Artemonov gets to the dirty areas better. And again, going back to the national writers thing, there's no way in hell this guy has watched all of these prospects this year.
It's impossible.
No, it's, and to do a whole draft coverage, no. Like, he might have seen a game, a shift, a couple shifts. So like, it's an imperfect science, and that's why like, I can't look at this and say this is definitively what it needs to be. It's not. It's one person's opinion. And like with the prospects rankings, he's like, oh, these guys have a chance to play games, yada yada yada. Like, let me pull that up. Let me pull up his prospect rankings
Okay,
for that.
so I'll just go through the rest of them. I can just go through the rest of them to make it a little bit easier.
Yes.
Next is Felix Unger-Sorum, which I agree with. I think Felix is 3. Kerbin Limitov, good. We're making sense here. Ivan Ryabkin, you're good. Yeah. Alexander Rykov might be a tad high for me.
Is this the ranking?
Yeah, Alexander Rykov is 8. Ryabkin is 7. Semyon Frolov is 9. That seems low. Also,
Well,
Frolov is below Rykov.
and my issues again with Pronman, he's like, oh, this system's been propped up by Nikishin and Jarvis. Like, kind of, but like at the same time,
They've
the
drafted so well
Hurricanes.
even after that. What? Well, they've
I
drafted
mean, so far
relative.
they've gotten one NHL player since.
Okay,
Like, I
but
wouldn't say they've
we
drafted
haven't
so well.
we haven't gotten Nadeau full-time NHL minutes. We haven't gotten
Sure.
Artemonov to North America yet. We barely even got Nikishin in North America right now. All right, just
And like, I think Stankoven and Blake is fine, but like with Artemonov, I don't get it. Bradley Nadeau, like, behind him, I still think Felix at 5 is fine. Like, I think he's upside wise. If he hits, he's going to be really good, like a Teuvo Teravainen type.
yeah.
It's just like, and I don't hate Rykov at 8. I don't, because I think if he's healthy, he's going to be really good. But it's if.
Yeah.
it's like there's no way, and like the chance has a chance to play. Oh, I was a big fan of Dominic Badinka. He didn't have a great year in the SHL. He didn't put up points. Like offense is not
Yeah,
Badinka's
and
game.
his role was so weird with Malmo. And I
Yes.
understand people are going to get mad because, he was stuck on the third pair, but it's hard for a 19-year. I had somebody explain this to me, a person that lives in Sweden who watched Felix play at Leksands in person and understands what Felix went through to even get somewhat consistent SHL minutes. You have to be defensively sound and
Yep.
defensively ready to play at the SHL if you are any young player. It
Yep.
is incredibly hard for young players to stay in the SHL. For Badinka to do that as a defenseman speaks bounds to what he is as a player right now. Yes, he had no points. That's not the role he was asked to play.
I think what's encouraging about this is you see all the players that he put in the has a chance to play tier though. Well, no, even you know what? No, I'm actually going to go through the whole ranking. Here's the draft position of every player that the Canes drafted. I'm going to not include Stankoven because he was never a Canes prospect. Jackson Blake, 109th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Artumonov, 50th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Nadeau, 30th.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only first round pick here. Unger Sorum was drafted 62nd.
Yeah.
Limitov, 67th. Ryabkin, 62nd. Rykov, 100th. Frolov, 41st. So out of the top 9, one first round pick. Even if you include Stankoven, one first round pick. It has a chance to play tier, though. This is where it gets interesting because this is where Carolina has been really good. They've found a lot of value in the late rounds where teams, like every year I see teams like, they have the list of players that aren't signing on June 1st and August 15th with their teams. Carolina doesn't have hardly any every year.
I think the only one they had this year was
Hammerlaw.
Hammerla. Quap was going to be, but they signed Quap.
Yeah, they signed him. So, Avramov, 188th. Badinka's 34th, obviously. Ekberg, 221st. Forsmark, 101. Franzen, nice.
I would also say that Ekberg, if we're going through the whole Hurricane system and you pick Ekberg out of a couple other guys, my big notable omission was Andrei Krutov.
Yeah, but he's
I
again
love
7th round. I think Ekberg got hyped because I think a lot of the hype around him is recency bias, and
yeah, it has to be.
I
And hey man, I respect what he did at the U18s over the summer. Great for
yeah,
him. Andrei
it's one term.
Krutov played good against men.
Yep,
Let's stop. What are we doing there?
yep. Hazayev, 158th. Cole, 168. Legault, 139. Poirier, 156. Like that is quintessentially how Carolina should be drafting. And so
Yeah.
it's important to note that like yes, Carolina might not have like the star power in their system right now. They've got so much depth.
How is Carolina supposed to draft a star when they're consistently drafting in the last like 8 picks of the first round every single year?
And then usually, other than Nadeau, they've traded all their first round picks. So 2021, because that's the last draft that
Yeah,
was available.
4,500 people, 4,500 lovely people watched us react as they traded down to that pick at
In
11 o'clock at
2021, they
night.
traded down for I think it was Morrow and Koivunen, those 2 picks. 2022, their first round pick was used in the Kotkaniemi offer sheet. 2023, they picked Nadeau. Last year, they traded down. This year, they traded down. Like Carolina hasn't picked. Like the earliest they've picked is 30 in the past 5 drafts.
And according to Corey Pronman, the top guy in their system was one they took in the second round. So
Yeah, the top prospect.
I like how you took a second for that. Thanks.
Sorry, I had to because I was thinking Stankoven.
Mm.
I just Yeah, I have respect because writing about prospects is hard. We know that. Evaluating players is difficult. There's a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of unpredictability. Hell, I'm still waiting for Tuka Tiexla to be good. Um, but like, I have the same issue with the Sportsnet rankings for the draft every year. If you're gonna publish a ranking or something, you have to provide actual analysis. And I find that the blurbs are often pretty repetitive.
The big thing you mentioned earlier is just state why you're ranking somebody above another and explain it.
And if it's going to be controversial, like it is with Artemonov and Nadeau, say like, hey, this is what I value in Artemonov's game over Nadeau's, or this is what Artemonov has that Nadeau doesn't. This is what Nadeau might need to work on in order to leapfrog or not Avramov, Artemonov again. Like, I'm not saying do it for like all 9 prospects that the Canes have ranked. Like, this is why Frolov isn't this first prospect here, or like the 8th prospect. Like, no, like don't do that. Like, I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking, like, especially for the first few guys in the system, say like, okay, this guy's in the NHL already. There's obviously the NHL tier of Blake and Stankoven, but then for the guys after that, why did you rank him 1 and this guy 2? And then after that, you can do whatever.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up because
Yeah,
that
no, I'm
was
not going to be
that
able to
was
sleep tonight because I'm mad.
that was 15 minutes that we just did not need to do. But I just wanted to talk about it because it was another piece of media that came out that was Canes prospects related. So, all right. Anything you would like to add?
Go read the Substack.
I would like to add that Bandido is my wrestler of the year for 2025. I know it's August. He is the best wrestler on the planet currently walking. That is all. Um, Thank you for listening to developing hurricanes.
Developing
Yeah,
Hurricane Bandidos.
we just developing hurricanes loves Bandido. At least I love Bandido.
Half of Developing Hurricanes.
No, you
Half
love
of Developing
you
Hurricanes
love
loves him.
Bandido.
Half of Developing Hurricanes has no idea who he is.
You love Bandido. You don't need to know who he is. He's beast. Yeah, this has been Developing Hurricanes. Thank you all for listening. We'll probably be back in like a month or 2 weeks. Who knows? We'll be back. We'll just kind of appear
We
next time
will
we're
be
back.
back.
We're recent Marvel titles where at the very end you're going to see this character will be back, and so we are Nick and Matt will be back.
Yeah, but we're better than any content that Marvel's put out in years.
Have you seen Fantastic Four?
No.
All right, I'm not talking. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.